Hi everyone, this is Dr. Victoria Skirbo, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. And I'm back to looking at the candidates who will be running in the 2020 presidential race. Today we're going to do Amy Klobuchar, and she is a senator from Minnesota, and she has been in Senate, I believe, since 2006. And she is well known, well liked, and pretty tough. She is a Democrat, although she considers herself a centrist Democrat, and she does have a ability to sort of reach over the aisle and work with Republicans, perhaps because she's a little bit more conservative to begin with. And she announced her run for presidency on February 10th, 2019, in the middle of a snowstorm at the mouth, or close by, maybe not the mouth, but certainly close enough to the Mississippi River. Her idea is that we must reach across the aisle, we must work together to find common ground, which is a nice thought if the Republicans go along with that. That was what Obama wanted too, and he didn't have much luck. Of course, he was black, so that might have something to do with it. Okay, let's not go there, yes, even though I said it. Okay, so let's look at Amy. We have, her name is Amy Jean Klobuchar, and as I've said before when I do these readings, your name is the vibration that you've come in on. It is what you know, it's what you're good at. If you believe in past lives, this is stuff that you've worked out in previous lives. When you separate out the vowels from the consonants, the vowels are called the soul vibration. This is the inner feminine. And so this is the Amy that is there, but maybe not everybody sees. And then there's the outer personality vibration, which is the consonants, and that is the Amy that people see. We tend to use the outer personality vibration is exactly that. It's an outer personality. It's sort of the person that people meet, whereas the soul is much more of an internal process, much more personal. And, you know, depending on the person, depends on how open they would be to sort of show that part of themselves. Okay, so when we add up her vowels, we get a 24/6 vibration. Now, this is the inner Amy. 24/6 is a vibration associated with the sign of Leo. And in that respect, it's very passionate. It is a 6, so it is very concerned with society. It's very concerned with the responsibilities that it takes to be and live in a community. And so this is somebody who can be very community oriented. This is somebody who can be very passionate about what they believe. This 24/6 vibration is located in Bina, up here in the Tree of Life. Bina lines up with the third eye, if we were to overlay the chakras on the Tree of Life. And so this is somebody who has keen intuition, very keen intuition. Sort of like a female intuition. This is very, so she knows stuff, okay? And this is the card associated with the 24/6. It's the Queen of Wands. And so we have a queen. She's very stately. She sits on her throne. She's very comfortable. This is somebody who knows, who is comfortable in leadership roles. Okay, Leo is very comfortable in leadership roles. In fact, Leos are more interested in being a leader, say, than a boss necessarily, although they certainly can be bossy in their more negative traits. But this is somebody who has a handle on what she believes. It's a fire sign. It's an intuitive vibration. It's a very powerful, potent vibration. And anytime somebody has something in Bina, but especially when a woman has something in Bina, she knows what it feels like to be disempowered because she's a woman. And so she does have a real sense of what it means to be a woman in a man's world. Okay, I believe that she is single. I don't think she is, thank you. My husband brought me water. I don't think she's married. I looked, it didn't say anything about her being married. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that. So obviously somebody who's okay being sort of on their own. Now we'll see that in her other numbers as well. So when we add up her consonants, we get a 37/1 vibration. And that is actually a water vibration. And this is the card for that. It's the King of Cups. Now, this is her outer personality. And this is her inner self. She has a king and a queen here. And so here we have another sort of symbolically that this is somebody who wants to be in charge. This is somebody who is comfortable in points of leadership. Okay? So her outer personality is a 1, which means that she's seen as independent. 1 is also a vibration of a leader. But the King of Cups is an interesting card because it's a card that is aware that there are emotions, but the king, if you can see, the king doesn't look into his cup. Okay, they're there, he has them, but he's not willing to look. So sometimes when you have this as a vibration, you can have some anger issues and some rage issues. That's made more prominent for her because this is also the vibration of her shadow. And so if we take her name, Amy, which vibrates to a 12, and we add the day of birth, which is the 25th, incidentally, her birthday is May 25th, 1960. When we add Amy and 25 together, we get the 37/1. So her outer personality and her shadow are the same vibration. Now, what does that mean? Well, first of all, your shadow is what you've come in to heal. Okay? When you have your shadow as your outer personality vibration, the same vibration, it means that you have, in previous lives, worked on healing the shadow. So on some level, she knows what her issues are. But because it's the outer personality vibration, her shadow becomes very evident. So when her shadow is showing, you see it and you know it. And when she started, when she was looking to announce, there was this story, I forget if it was Politico or Axios or one of the media, well, not media, the journalism, said that she couldn't find people who wanted to work for her because she is nasty to them, and she kind of treats them like almost like I don't want to say slaves, but get my this and do this for me and do that for me and make me a sandwich, and almost there's a regal quality, like you work for me, so you got to do all this stuff. And that could very well be part of the fact that both vibrations, we have a king and a queen, and so there's a part of her that has probably been that in a past life. And so we live in a democracy, and this is not really all that acceptable. And of course she's a woman, and women are always held to a higher standard anyway. And so whereas this might be seen as directive in a man, it would be seen as bitchy and bossy in a woman. So we always kind of have to take that into consideration. Incidentally, this is also the shadow of Donald Trump. This is Donald Trump's shadow. And so there's something about Trump that reflects for her own shadow. And when you have this vibration, this is often seen in people who have issues with father. Actually, when you have things in Bina and when you have things in Hokmah, which I don't know if I pointed that out. This is up here in Hokmah, shadow and quiescent. You can have issues with mother, Bina, father, Hokmah. But the fact that she has her shadow in Hokmah says that more of her issue would have been with her father. And her father was an alcoholic. He was abusive. He did, her parents divorced. I think when she was 15, it was very damaging to her, very painful. It's one of the things that she had to deal with. And she spoke about this. And she even talked about it when she was in the Kavanaugh hearing. And I'm sure that there was something in Kavanaugh that she saw that reflected something in her father, because Kavanaugh is a big drinker and seems energetically to have that, like, he can pop at any moment. So I'm sure on some level she was reliving a few things in her mind. And yet she was pretty cool. I mean, she was very direct, and he ended up apologizing for doing that. And so she has a strength. She definitely has a strength, and she has a pointedness to her. And that's the kind of thing, that's the kind of energy you want in a fighter. Okay, that's something you want in a fighter. Okay, let's see. Okay, so, and then we have the expression vibration. And the expression vibration is when we balance the inner and outer self. And we get a 7, we get a 61-7 vibration. This is connected to the sign of Gemini, and she herself is a Gemini. And so this is this card right here, the 7 of Swords. And the expression is how they find balance, okay? The 7 of Swords is a card that could be seen as dirty tricks, but certainly aware. This is a card where if you have it, you're not necessarily doing dirty tricks, but you understand and you have an eye for that. So you have an eye for the dirty tricks, okay? The 7 as a base number is about self-knowledge and understanding, so knowing who you are. And so, to a certain extent, in order for her to find balance between her inner and outer self, she needs to keep in mind who she is. She has to be aware of that. Now, this is also located in the Netzach. Netzach is associated with the planet Venus, and it is associated. And if you overlay the chakras, we have the solar plexus. And so it's very important that she knows who she is and what she wants, and she goes after it, okay? And that she fosters a healthy sense of self-esteem and self-respect. That's very important for her to balance her inner and outer self. Now, we'll look at her vibration of her life lesson. Now, your life lesson is what you've come in to work on in this lifetime, and sometimes you're not all that good at it, okay? So she has a life lesson. If you add up her birthday, May 25th, that's 525, that's a 30. 1960 is a 16. We get a 46/1 vibration. And that's this card. It's the nostalgia card. Whenever you have this card as a major number for yourself, children or childhood becomes very important and very influential in your life. And we know that she had issues when she was a child, really. I mean, her father left at 15, but I'm sure things were not all that great before he left. And so, and when you see cups, oftentimes there can be issues with alcohol, not always, but that can be one of the issues. And so there is a woundedness when you have this. And the wounds come as a child. But part of the lesson is to heal the inner child in this lifetime. Part of the lesson is to be able to connect with your childlike qualities as opposed to your childish qualities. Okay? And you can do both. I mean, you will express both those things, but ultimately it's the childlike stuff that you want to hang on to and be aware of a tendency for childishness, if that in fact is your tendency. This is not her wound. This is just her lesson. But all the same, you still might have some of that. So you might see, or you might hear of that type of activity or that type of those type of actions having been taken in her life. Okay, but look, we're all here to learn, right? We don't come in perfect. We come in with flaws, and if you can accept your flaws and say, well, this is my flaw, you're much better off. We have to be honest with ourselves. The one in this is about the one. Who am I? So there's an identity issue, but there's also, because this is located in the center of the tree in Tiphereth, which is connected to the heart chakra, this is really about loving self. Okay, loving self. And with the shadow as a 1, and the lesson as a 1, sometimes when people are really mean or degrading, or, you know, that like you got to do this and that and this for me. Almost like superior. It comes from a place of inferiority. And so a part of her journey is to learn how to love herself, love the inner child, heal the inner child, come to peace with the inner child. This is also, Tiphereth is also a place where you learn to work within groups. And certainly she has done that because she has been in the Senate for so long. And she does work across the aisle, right? So she can work with people who maybe don't always agree with her. Okay, so let's look at her divine triangle here, and we have this first square here is her youth square. Her youth square is located in Hesed, up here in the Tree of Life, and so in her youth she would have had to connect with her voice. She would have had to find her voice. And perhaps when she was younger, she wasn't allowed to say things, or she wasn't allowed to express herself freely. This is this 44/8 vibration is the Four of Cups. And there's a divine discontent with the Four of Cups. And again, we have cups. When we see cups in the youth square, as I said, alcohol can be an issue. The 44/8 is a responsible number, so sometimes it takes on more responsibility than is necessary. Okay? And she could have, which oftentimes the children of alcoholics become super achievers because they're trying to make up for the situation. And they also learn to handle things, a lot of responsibilities of the grown-ups, right? Because the grown-ups aren't necessarily being grown-ups. Okay, so we have that vibration. Now, in her power square, which goes from age 27 to age 54, we have the 41/5 vibration. And the 41/5 vibration is a cup. It's a water vibration, and it is the Ace of Cups. And let me see if I can pull it out, if I can find it in the deck. Now, I'm sure you know what the Ace of Cups looks like, but I like to show it to you anyway, okay? So part of her power, okay, 41/5. First of all, 5 is about change. So learning how to cope with change, okay? 41/5 is cups. It's about your emotions. It's about your feelings. It is a square. Whenever you see a square anywhere, we know that it's a challenge. Sometimes this as a challenge number means that you cannot control your emotions. You kind of bubble up with anger, or you bubble up with whatever emotion happens to be there. And so in order for her to sort of ground her power or find her power in this lifetime, she has to learn how to control or at least understand her emotions and let them flow as they will in a positive way. Because this can be very destructive, because this vibration is found up in Kether. And whenever you have a number in Kether, you can create a lot of havoc. You can create a lot of havoc. So if you happen to have, and Kether is where all the aces are. So it would be the Ace of Cups, the Ace of Wands, the Ace of Swords, the Ace of Pentacles. And so when you have the numbers associated with those cards, you can create a lot of havoc. And then, so she's actually out of this, okay? And now we have her in her wisdom square. And she's actually on the first line of her wisdom square. And what's interesting about her wisdom square is that her wisdom square is also a 44/8. And so very much she is, through the vibration of the Ace of Cups, is learning how to better manage taking responsibility, finding your voice. This vibration, you have to learn how to say no. When you mean no, you can't say yes to everything. And learning about karma. As you sow, so shall you reap, because we're dealing with an 8. Okay? Sometimes with this vibration, there's a little like undercurrent of depression or undercurrent of sadness. Just like not content. There's a sense of not being content with this. But if we see that the Spirit is offering the cup, if we look up to Spirit, Spirit will answer the call. And so youth, power, wisdom. And we have the cup. This cup and this cup are the same cup, really, with the hand of God coming out. So she gets a lot of help from spirit, people who have these vibrations, if they remember to look beyond their own nose. Hold on, let me find the card that I want to pull up for that. I got all messed up here. Anyway, the king as a the King of Cups as a vibration or as a shadow can sometimes can't see past their own nose. They're too concerned with themselves and how things are affecting them. And we definitely see that in somebody like Donald Trump. We don't really see that in her because, quite frankly, I think she's already worked on this. Although I'm not saying she's perfect in any way. I think she can be pretty bitchy if she wants to be, or if she's being wounded, or if the wound comes up. Okay, so we have that. Let's see what else. Excuse me. Okay, let's look at what's interesting about the day that she announced on the 10th. That vibration, that day, was actually a 24/6 vibration, which vibrates to her soul. So running for president is in some way vibrating to her soul vibration. This perhaps is her soul's work. Now, she was born in 1960. She has Pluto in Virgo. Pluto in Virgo is the need or the deep desire to serve and be of service. The only president who's had Pluto in Virgo was Barack Obama. Okay, he was born in 1961. So he's the only president that we have as an example of what a president with Pluto in Virgo might be. But Pluto and Virgos are willing to work. They're not afraid of work at all. And they will work across the aisle, and they will work with each other. They want to fix what's broken, Pluto and Virgos. They really, really do. Okay, and so that is interesting. Now, if we go over here to her personal years, 2018, your personal year goes from your birthday to your birthday. So her birthday is in May. So when she announced, she was still in the vibration that she went into in 2018 on her birthday. And so at that point, she was in a 41.5 vibration right here. So she was connected to her power. So she was in her power. This was a power year for her. And she certainly exhibited that at the Kavanaugh hearing, I think. Okay? So she was in a 41.5 year. The 5 also connects to, where else does she have a 5? Where else did I see the 5? I guess there. Yeah, okay, that's it. Same number. Okay. But she announced here in the third part of her personal year, and that third part of her personal year runs from January 25th to May 24th. And then she goes into this vibration. So she announced when she was in 8 period. 8 period. Okay? So the numbers for her really kind of vibrate and work together. This is, I'll say, this is well timed for her. Okay? Now, so that's when she announced. But the 2020, when 2020 rolls around, she's going to be in a 34/7 vibration. And that vibration is right here in her solar plexus in a place called Hod, which is ruled by Gemini. And ruled by Mercury, and she is a Gemini. So that could be very good for her as well. And when they're elected, when we have the election, she's actually going to be in a 14.5 vibration. And what's interesting about that is that from age 54 to age 63, she's in a 9-year period of the 14/5 vibration. So that sort of vibrates there. So numerologically, it actually looks very good for Amy Klobuchar, I have to say. That vibration, that 14/5, is actually right here on the Tree of Life. And it connects the higher self with the lower self. It is the path of the Holy Guardian Angel. It is the path of temperance. And so this experience will be a tempering experience for her. And quite frankly, I think she's strong enough. I really do. I think that she is tough enough to make it through this. And we'll see how she does. We'll see how she does. But numerologically, it actually looks very good for her. So I think that's where I want to stop. And I will be doing Buddha Gig and Bernie. So I'll be back for those. If you would like a reading like this for yourself, I do that. You can just contact me below or email me, and we can set that up. And if the reading I do for you also includes astrology. And so for this reading, all I need is your full name of birth and your date of birth. For the astrology, I'll need your time of birth as well. And for those people who can't find the time of birth or have a really accurate time of birth, which is very important in an astrology reading, this type of reading is a great reading for you because we get information from different sources and we can sort of mix that with the astrology that we can get from your date of birth, and we can get a good idea of where you've been, where you're going, what you're working on, what you need to heal. So just contact me. I've had a lot of people, a lot of my reader, and I can't call them readers, my watchers, the watchers on the wall. I've had a lot of my people who watch these videos have readings, and they've liked them. So have yourself a great day, like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.